Welcome into the turret. I'm Aaron with the Still the Bourbon podcast, and we have our co-hosts Chuck, Brian, and Brent. So today we are going to be talking about the Olympics of whiskey. We have bottles from Ireland, from Japan, from the good old US of A, Scotland, and Canada. We decided to pick some of the regions that are known for their whiskey. Chuck, give us just a little bit of update about the Olympics as it stands. United States leading the medal count.
United States has got a whole bunch of medals. They've had some surprise medals. It's been a lot of fun. I probably would watch more Olympics, but this is the Olympics I'm super excited about right now.
Can't wait for this. Brian, do you have a favorite Olympic sport?
It's got to be basketball. You know, I enjoy watching the Olympics, when they're on, but I really get intrigued by basketball, and even more so the women's basketball nowadays.
Absolutely. All right, Brent, you're a big whiskey guy. Do you have
a big something? Do
you think that any of these are going to hold up to bourbon?
So I'm trying not to be a hometown boy, but
bourbon
is going to rule the day here.
So you're thinking the bourbon's going to
this is like
medal?
Ledecky in the 1500 and beyond, brother. You're just not going to be able to do anything better than bourbon. But I'm interested in the Irish. I've not spent a lot of time there, but I hear it's good.
So I called a friend of mine, a resident expert in whiskey, when we were preparing for this show, and basically the idea is each one of these regions were distilled in the culture of the time. So when you're drinking an Irish whiskey, because that's what we're getting ready to start with, we've got Sexton from Ireland, and then when you get to the Japanese and so forth and so on, kind of think about the people of that region. This Irish whiskey we're about to drink is 80 proof, because when you think about Ireland, for me, the thing that comes to mind is St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And Ireland in general, they like to have a good time. And so this was meant to be able to drink all day long with the people in the pubs and that type of thing. And if you haven't been, over in Evansville, there's a brand new Irish pub. Patsy Hardigan's just opened a couple weeks ago, and they're killing it. Great Irish pub feel. Lots
Very
of
unique
Irish
beers
beer
that you will not see anywhere else around here.
So what I think we're going to do with this is we're going to nose all of these. We're going to drink them all. We'll talk about them as we do it, and then at the end, let's try to find a gold, a silver, and a bronze.
Okay.
For you individually. We don't
Let
have
me just
to
say,
agree.
Sexton gets top marks for their bottle.
Yeah,
How cool is that bottle?
Sure.
I don't know if you can see this one or not. I'll try to hold it up, but let me just put it right in front of Brian's face. That usually helps improve things. Cool bottle and a pretty nice nose.
Yeah, real nice nose.
Especially for 80 proof whiskey. You wouldn't think the nose would be very complex, but
I get a lot
there.
Green fruit, green apple, pear.
Very citrusy.
Okay, not bourbon, but really citrusy, and I kind of like it.
Somebody mentioned Katie Ledecky. My favorite stat from the Olympics is the 20 fastest times on record in the 1500 women's swim freestyle are held by somebody named Katie Ledecky.
Yes, absolutely.
So the top three?
The top 20.
20.
Wow. Yeah. And I think her time this year was something like the eighth.
It was only number 8.
Only.
But she won by so far that when she hit the finish line, if you will, there's nobody else on the TV
saw
screen.
that,
Right.
Yeah. That was very cool.
So, what do you think, Chuck? Would you go back for this?
I probably would if I'm in Ireland. I like it all right. It actually got a little more pepper than what I expected for an 80 proof. So yeah, probably on the rocks.
Absolutely. It's very different, of course, from bourbon, because in Ireland they're using second filled bourbon barrels, and almost all of these that we're tasting today, we are only allowed to use our barrels once.
Right.
And then we ship them across to wherever.
As God intended.
That's right. And so they're picking up the flavors and the the rest of the best. If you will.
It's called redemption.
Redemption.
So my good buddy and workmate David Jarbo would love this. He's an Irish guy, loves Irish whiskeys. I would love to share a bottle of this with him.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those things of where are you, who you drinking with. I could drink this one just about any time, and I'll probably buy a bottle of this.
Yeah.
Can you get this?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's on the shelf everywhere. So yeah, easily available. I really like it. I mean, I didn't pick up on that pepperiness until Chuck had mentioned that. So it does remind me of the rye spice, but I enjoy it. I think it's really good. My go-to, if I go to like a dive bar and they don't have a good bourbon selection, is I always like to enjoy some Irish whiskeys. And Sexton a lot of time will be there. Jameson is always there at every dive bar. So that's kind of my go-to if there's not a great bourbon selection. But I would definitely buy this again.
Jameson's pretty tasty, actually.
It is, yeah.
So now we're going to head across the the European continent all the way over to Asia. We're going to get into some Tokai from the Santori.
Did you see that Wemby photo with Wemby against the Japanese guard? 7'4" center versus the 5'6" Japanese guard.
I saw a meme on Facebook and it said, "Look, he's guarding his knees."
So we've tried that one. We've tried this one on this show before. We had a Japanese experience.
Oh, we did, yes.
And I think this one might have been the best one. But having said the best one of the Japanese whiskeys that we tried,
You're not saying a lot.
Is not a lot. I really wanted to like them. I really wanted to. I was excited about those. And it's just not my thing. But let's see what we got here. Maybe it's different.
Did you all discuss how Japanese got its start?
We did, yeah.
So they sent a
Scrubs was here, so we got
you got the whole
full backstory.
Sorry, Scrubs, but you got the whole story. You got the short story long. Then is that what you got? But anyway, so if you don't know, Japanese got its start from a toothpaste maker, and he went over to Scotland to study whiskey, brought back a wife, and he fell in love with Scotch, and that's where Japanese got their influence.
Ended up saving the American whiskey. Industry when whiskey fell out of favor and everybody but Chuck Stennett was drinking clear liquids.
Chuck, you never never dabbled in the clear liquor, did you?
I've had some experience with it. Man, there's just no nose there.
There is none.
It's like water.
And I don't know what that taste is. It's not wood. I don't know what it is.
There is no nose. Zero. I would disqualify this from the Whiskey Olympics.
There you go.
So that's exactly what I would do.
You got a DQ?
You have been disqualified.
Yeah, stepped over the line. You did not salute the judges. What is going on?
It's even spicy on the back end. I'm not sure what that spice is coming from. Again, they use barrels that have been used previously. Centauri owns Jim Beam, who's a mega bourbon, who's huge in the bourbon industry, of course, and they've put some of their Japanese whiskeys in the American market.
That is 86 proof.
86.
And it tastes every bit of 43.
Does it
it
taste
is
like it's like a year old?
Yeah, it's just, and I guess it's the light, and that's the flavor profile that the Japanese love. All of their whiskey is light and clear, and I don't know how long it's spent in the barrel, but it can't be more than 3 hours.
What's the climate in Japan? Does anybody know? Is it similar to here? Or is it more mild?
It's I guess it was. I wish I would have asked my wife. She spent a whole Heather foreign exchange when she was in high school. She was a foreign exchange student in Japan.
Oh, cool.
Should have asked her before the episode, but I think if best I remember, she said the climate was very similar to here.
I'm always stunned that each one of us is married above our class.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, your wife about to have a birthday.
She is.
In 2 days, Thursday.
Number 40. So
You're not supposed to say that out loud.
Please cut that out, bro.
Nope, ain't no way. That's getting on.
Depends on what my price is on the next E.H. Taylor. I guess. He always does me right. I'm just kidding. I mean, not that I want to move on or anything, but I'm.
You poured that real quick, Brent.
I poured that.
it cleans my palate.
Now listen, where is John Williams when you need him? Because we need a little fanfare right here for the Four Roses small batch. I actually know a little something about this one. Not a lot, but enough to know that I like it. And it is the number one seller here at the Lyles Bridges house. We go through more of this than anything else. Not that's me personally, but, I'm not the only one that lives here.
You know that Centauri whiskey retails for like $60. You could have put, I don't know, Kentucky Gentleman after that, and I think Kentucky Gentleman will have been a better pour.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get political here, Brian, at all. So if this is a political comment, then we could cut it out. But aren't there like a lot of tariffs on foreign products that are causing liquor stores to have to raise their price? And
so I mean, it's the unseen cost of, and that started when Trump was in office, where he started imposing these tariffs, and other countries did the same to our bourbon. So bourbon overseas is more expensive. All the import Baileys went up like $10 when that happened. I mean, people were outraged, thinking that we just were price gouging.
Drink coffee for an
Drink bourbon cream made here in Kentucky for $20.
Absolutely,
hey,
$21.
Some of that caramel cream down there from the Bard.
Oh,
absolutely.
yes, really good.
I mean, we've talked about this 100 times. We all love the Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
But you get some of that Bard cream.
Yeah.
Man, that's good.
Yeah, Buffalo Trace bourbon cream, good on ice cream, good in root beer. If you go to the distillery, that's one of the things they do. And really good on oatmeal.
Oh, love it.
I just had to try it, you understand?
Yeah. Doing some market research.
So now we're going to jump on a plane and we're going to fly all the way across to
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
Right by the Parkway.
We're going to figure out where does this rank in with the other two, man.
I can highly recommend the Lee's Chicken to go along with some Four Roses. I've been there and done that.
I was going to say, it sounds like a man from experience.
Yes. Those weren't college experiences, were they?
Actually, no, they weren't, which I think makes it a little worse.
So, this is just your standard
Classic American.
There's that
classic
nose I was
Kentucky.
missing from the Japanese whiskey.
How about that?
Man,
This one sticks to landing, brother. I'm telling you, this is the good stuff right
Well, you know,
here.
it's curious because going back to the to the 80s, you heard a lot about the Japanese loving Kentucky bourbon. Basically, all Four Roses product went to Japan for a number of years. So you think that they would like that, bigger nose, bigger flavor whiskey.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
and then Blanton's, they send, and while Turkey
Now,
has
they
a purple label.
They cut the proof down, though, so you got to keep that in mind. You know, there's different proof Blantons. Four Roses, primarily, all these higher proof bourbons weren't, they had their yellow label. And then I.W. Harper was exclusively sold in Japan, which was at 80 proof. That didn't even come back to the U.S. market until, about 5 or 6 years ago. So most of these bourbons weren't the staples that you see today. They were the 80 and 90 proofs that the Japanese market is accustomed to.
So there's a lot of great stories about Four Roses. A favorite story is if you've seen that picture from VE Day in World War II when victory over Europe and Times Square is celebrating, and there's the famous picture of a sailor in his his white uniform bending over a nurse as it happens and kissing her in the middle of Times Square. Famous iconic picture, controversy over exactly who these people were and so forth. But that was shot with a large format camera, and it was cropped down to the picture that we know today. But if you see the original frame, you'll see on top of one of the buildings at Times Square a neon sign for Four Roses.
Wow, that's cool.
It was a huge selling bourbon in its day back in the 40s. And it's big today.
This is so much better than the first two that we
Oh,
tried.
yeah.
I enjoyed the Irish. I did not enjoy the Japanese.
The Japanese
This
was
is why
just
we sit
so
and talk.
light. It was just, there was nothing there.
So the Americans have jumped out to the lead.
Yes, I think so. For me, it's Katie Ledecky and everybody else in the rearview mirror.
So I started to wonder, why am I even on the show? I'm, probably my days are probably numbered, but
No, never.
they are. Well, I haven't spoken yet, so. But the Sexton, I mean, for me, it's number one. I mean, this is good, but that I'm starting to lean more and more towards rye whiskeys, and the Sexton is.
Is the Sexton better because it is more dimensional than the Four Roses? There are more.
So I think it's more complex. When you're talking about 80 proof bourbon versus, or 80 proof Irish whiskey versus, what is this, 96, 94, something like that?
94.
94. I mean, the complexity of the
90.
Sexton, I think, is, well, that's only, that's 5% more alcohol, so that's negligible. I mean, as far as taste goes, unless you have a palate like
Yours?
Justin. So yeah, I mean, I think the Sexton overall is a better pour.
So do you think you'd be in the same place if we had either Bourbon Rabbi or E.H. Taylor Rye out here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a fan of Four Roses, definitely. There's a few of their bourbons I'm not a fan of. I'm not saying I would drink this on the rocks any day. Mm-hmm. But there's other stuff that I like better. Yeah.
This one, when we have this one, is typically on the rocks, out in the heat, under the pergola, and just chilling out at the end of the night.
I'll say this: a bottle of Four Roses, single barrel. I think they call it Distiller Select, that you could buy at the gift shop. One particular bottle that we came home not knowing a whole lot about that whole line was one of the finest whiskeys I've ever had anywhere. But you really need to do your homework with Four Roses because they have so many different combinations of the yeast.
They have 10 bourbons.
They have 10 bourbons.
Now, this is a blend of some of them, and I don't know how many are in that one. Do you?
Don't have a clue.
I don't think they tell, do they?
No.
I've never heard it.
And that's starting to be a trend amongst the big distillers is blending barrels, which before, as Chuck alluded to in a few episodes prior, that used to be like a thing you didn't want to do, is to blend barrels, and because that's a lot of times that's what Kentucky Tavern and these smaller brands do. That's bottom shelf.
You're talking about blending different types of bourbon, for example, not just the same mash bill, different barrels from different places in the brick house, but actually going for this variation of bourbon and this variation of bourbon and this variation of bourbon from a particular distillery. So there might be different mash bills, different age statements.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Well, fellas,
and I guess Jim Beam might be leading the way with the Booker line.
Yeah, with their blending.
But let me say, man, that last Green River, the foolproof that we drank not too long ago.
Oh, it's so good.
Has like 3 different years in it.
Yeah,
man, that's some good stuff for the price. To me, maybe the best one out there on the market right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, Green River, I think they're doing it right. I mean, as far as price goes, even Buffalo Trace, you see Weller Millennium coming out for, $7,500 MSRP. So, Green River, everything less than $65, it's definitely a steal.
Yeah. You got 4 Weller Millenniums at Beverage Barn, correct? Waiting for people to come
all
on.
For $7,500,
$7,500.
Well,
so, this next one we're getting ready to try. When I say the word Scotch, and when I'm at the bar,
I'm about to lick some grass.
People always say, I just can't drink Scotch. Now, hold on, because there are different Scotches from different regions, and Speyside Scotch, what we're getting ready to drink here in just a second from the Glenrothes Distillery. There is 0 peat on this one. So I think a lot of times when people think the word Scotch, they think that we're getting ready to lick an ashtray or that you're going to have all of that smoke. And now, if you want some of that, I love peat. I love peated whiskey. I love mezcal. Give me all the smoke. But I absolutely love this one. So I don't want to influence anybody's palate or anything like that. But if I was thinking one of these might be a comeback story type thing or underdog, I think this might be your underdog. So
no, that would not influence anybody's palate at all. That was just a full-fledged lobbying effort.
I tried really hard.
Are you a product of Scotland?
No, I wish I was. That's my dream, is to go to Scotland and Ireland, play golf, and visit the pubs. Our buddy Kurt Hamilton just got back from playing golf in Ireland with his sons, and I was very jealous looking at the Facebook.
You're saying
comments.
0 smoke.
Oh, no, not 0. There's a little bit.
Because that's the first thing I got on the nose.
It's in your head.
No, I don't think that's
no.
in my
It's
head.
in my nose. That's what it is.
I tried, guys. I really did. I was hoping this would be a Scotch that everybody loved. This is the Whiskey Maker's Cut from the Glen
What's the
Rothes
proof?
Distillery. 96.
Oh, okay.
So we're
smells
moving on
hotter
up.
than that. Maybe saw that smoke and
I mean, it's okay.
Low peat.
I like it for Scotch. I like it. I would everybody needs to own some Scotch because you have Scotch drinkers that come over, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Scotch owns the whiskey market as a whole. I mean, Scotch accounts for I don't want to miss worldwide. I mean, we're talking about 70-80% of the whiskey market, and that's where the bourbon market is trying to infiltrate because this stuff is subpar to bourbon, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. But yeah, I mean, they have a huge market presence, and
Is this always neat, or do you?
No, you put up
this on the rocks.
Absolutely.
I like it neat, and again, this would probably be the one Scotch that I'd want to buy.
Well,
that I've tried.
Brad Snyder has a great story from golfing in Scotland with his dad and maybe his brother, and they might have been at St. Andrews and go to some little pub after playing around, and they would go in and order some Scotch. And Brad's dad said, I don't know if he said, I'll have it with a soda on the rocks or something like that. And Brad loved to say that the bartender said, "You'll take it the way I give it to you, mate." Or laddie.
I love it. I get the nose on this is very, very similar to the Sexton in that you can pick up distinct flavors. Like with the Sexton, the Irish, I picked up a lot of green fruit. With this one, there's some vanilla. I get almost orange, like almost dreamsicle. Am I just
Or
stupid?
lit on fire.
for me, it's like a campfire for me. I mean,
It's not that smoky.
I mean, the nose for me is very smoky, but when I taste it, it's not.
Yeah, it's not. It's a very pleasant.
Do you pick up a lot of smoke, Chuck, or am I
A little bit of smoke. So help me. I pick up on the nose. I pick up rubber.
rubber?
Rubber.
Like tire rubber?
Like the sole of a tennis shoe, maybe. Or,
Oh.
But as far as the taste goes, I mean, I like
Man,
it.
that's
Like,
good.
I'd drink it again.
I would too.
I wouldn't refuse it by any means. I'm the odd person out. The story about Americans is that Scotch is an acquired taste, and you may not like it at first, but if you keep going and going and going, you'll like it. First time I had Scotch, granted I was a kid, 21 years old, at my older brother's Christmas party, where all of his buddies, they were like 10, 12, 14 years older than me, and they're pouring me Scotch, and I'm trying it, and I'm like, yeah, this is all right. I like Scotch fine. And then the second time I had Scotch, it's kind of like, this is not really quite what I remembered. And as time has gone on, I've gone farther and farther away from Scotch, although Brad did bring back from Scotland to our Super Bowl party a single malt that was terrific. I have no idea which one it was. So there's Scotch out there that appeals to me.
As you were telling that story, I heard my older brothers, they were 10, 12, and 14.
No.
I was like, what are they doing with Scotch? And then you finished.
But single malt, that is very prevalent overseas. It's new to the American market, but there's single malt of Crown Royal and Bullet, and there's several of them that now have single malts. But
Almost all Irish whiskey is
it's
single malt.
almost all. Yep.
And then you've got beer now, and there are smash beers that they're taking off. It's single malt, single
Really?
hop. Yeah, and so.
Well, let me just
playing
say,
on
now that you brought
flavor
up beer,
profile.
we're talking about the Whiskey Olympics.
Yeah.
And I decided that if I had time today, I was going to go buy some German beer, because if breakdancing can be in the Paris Olympics, by God, German beer can be
in our
the
whiskey Olympics. Absolutely.
Did I read that the jump roping is in this game, or is going to be in next
Going
year's?
to be, I think.
So in Los Angeles in
I think that's
2028.
right. Yeah.
I'll take a look at it.
Hey, I watched women's rugby for the first time.
That's quite a sport.
Dude,
Man,
those women were going.
They were
They were like awesome.
Yes, every bit of it. So much so that my 4-year-old said, "Dad, I want to play rugby." And I said, "You don't have any of those things around here, baby. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
And then she also said, while we were watching water polo last night, or night before last, she said, "Dada, water polo's like soccer, isn't it? And I said, yeah, it's kind of like soccer in the water. And she said, I think I'm going to play water polo. And she said, Dada, you can't play water polo. You got a fat belly. So, wrapping up our whiskey journey.
Speaking of rugby, I got in a fair amount of trouble as a college newspaper journalist when I produced an article and wrote the headline about rugby, introducing Americans to college club rugby, with the headline, "It takes leather balls to play rugby." Director of student publications didn't care for that one.
Today they went
got past all the editors, right?
It went in print.
Oh, good.
It went in print. Nope, not a fan.
So we're coming up on the end of our
Honestly,
whiskey
what other
Olympics.
kind are there?
And as we
I think this is the one that's going to come from behind, just
you
like
think
in
so?
like in the men's 1500 finals. I think Canadian Rye is going to come from behind and is going to hit the tape.
So we've got Alberta cask strength whiskey of the world in 2020, I believe it was 2021.
Is this from? Say that again.
2000 whiskey of the world.
Okay.
Yep.
In 2020 or
Canadian
2021, yeah,
Which
it's,
shocked the world, shocked the bourbon community here in the States, especially.
How many gold medals does Canada have at the moment?
Well, I don't know.
I think 0. All right, so
Would you see what the proof on that is? Is that 133 proof?
132.
You're the math guy.
Yeah, but it's okay.
It's 66 points.
66 times 2.
66,
132.
66 point what?
66.0.
There you go.
That's 132.
Yeah, that's what I said. 132.
So this will be, aside from distillate at a distillery, which could be, as much as 160. This will be the highest proof whiskey that I've ever had. I think I had some Stag Junior at 128. So this is 132.
This is the highest proof you've ever had? We're going to have a hazmat episode.
Oh, hazmat. Yeah, I like it.
Well, I've had higher proof brandy.
No, I'm talking bourbon. 145 and higher.
Never had it.
I got a whiskey.
You'd be
for you.
surprised how some
Next
of
time you
those
come
are
to the
very
restaurant,
good.
I
Like
got you a
people,
little sample.
Well,
Whoa, mama.
So a bourbon can only go in the barrel at
Taster just knows
125.
I tasted it.
I'm not nosing it.
You're ahead of the game, Judge Brent. You're going to get.
Yes, sir.
Now they kick butt at the Winter Olympics.
Of course they do.
Oh, and you just got back from
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
Yeah, got screeched in.
I'm not getting much on
It
the nose.
smells like a bourbon. I mean, it smells.
Canadian whiskey, at least, they have the least regulated whiskey market in the world. I mean, there's basically 2 or 3 requirements. I think it's 3 years old and be distilled, or not distilled, but be produced in Canada.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
I mean, there's no.
You
You
don't
can
have to have
infuse
certain
it
oak.
like
nothing.
Crown. You can infuse it with whatever you want. I mean, there's very little requirements.
Crown Blackberry.
Oh gosh.
That's a thing, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Better than apple.
I was at your liquor store and the phone rang and I heard,
If I had $1 for every time somebody called.
I know.
Becky or somebody, said, no, we don't have it right in. She hung up and I said, are they looking for some kind of rare bourbon? She says, no, a Blackberry Crown Royal. Really?
What's it?
Hey,
If you haven't seen our blackberry whiskey episode,
go back and look at that.
yeah,
Gross.
yep. Huber Starlight
Man,
all the way.
this smells so good.
are you going to drink it? Or are you
I
just
don't know.
gonna play with
It's got such a vanilla nose.
It's like candy.
That's what it smells like.
It's like a caramel candy.
See, that's what I said. The crazy thing about Canadian whiskey, you just never know what happens to it after it leaves distillation. I mean, did they infuse it with something that?
So that they can add flavorings.
Absolutely.
To it?
Yes. So they're the least restrictive of any country.
So it says Alberta. Alberta is a province of Canada. It could just be a brand name.
That's a brand name. Yeah.
Okay, but I'll bet they grow rye in Alberta. Rye.
100%.
That's a winter climate. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I can see those maple leaf flags flying in the stands because this whiskey.
You enjoy it, Chuck?
It
is that what you're saying?
It is scurrying to the front.
So with this, I would have to put an asterisk by it, though. It's
here
almost
we
like
go.
steroids in sports, you know, where you could add flavoring or add, things to it.
Yeah. So you got to put a, because you don't know what's being added.
Yeah,
what's been
it's like
added
Barry
to it.
Bonds. I mean, would you say he was the?
I think Barry Bonds was a great baseball player.
Yeah, I didn't say Mark McGwire because I'm a Cardinals fan, but Barry Bonds, yeah.
All right, fellas. We had some good whiskey and some not so good whiskey.
Yep.
I would say
Wait,
Personal
before
opinion.
you do gold, silver, and bronze. Surprise
Snoop
of
Dogg
the
over
day.
here.
surprise of the day, Canadian
Alberta,
Alberta.
Brian. Surprise of the day.
Yeah, Canadian.
Yeah. Okay, we're all on the same page.
Chuck?
Well, it's not a surprise to me because I said beforehand I think that this Canadian Rye is going to. I like it a lot.
I think if we had picked a more sophisticated American bourbon,
Yeah,
a Kentucky bourbon,
you're right.
it would have won the day.
Right.
But I think it might have lost by half a step.
It's kind of like the meme I saw the other day that said what they should do in the Olympics is pick some random guys and just
Average
make
Joes.
them make them go out and play the Olympic event.
Yeah.
Peyton, badminton came on, and my mom has a badminton thing at her house.
See the Snoop Dogg?
She was like, "Dad, I think I can play badminton in the
Commentary.
Olympics." And then they started
God,
playing, and she said,
he's killed it.
Nope,
Nope.
Snoop Dogg.
He's killed it.
Everybody needs a Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Oh, need some of that? Oh, let me get. Oh, hi. Oh, get out of my way. I need that.
I didn't know I liked Snoop Dogg. I mean, I love
didn't
his
either.
music, but I didn't know I liked him as much as I did until
I
it was
love
an
him.
Olympic.
Oh, I love the
He
statement.
might be the surprise of the Olympics.
He is. Yeah.
He said, how did he go from gangster rapper to America's favorite grandpa?
That's it, 100%.
But when he was
Overnight.
stepping with that horse, I just lost it.
Me
man.
too.
And him and Martha Stewart.
They're great. Great.
So back to our whiskey Olympics. Brent, what's your gold medal? Let's back up. Brent, what's your bronze medal winner?
I think bronze for me is the Scotch.
Brian, bronze.
Yeah. I'd say the Scotch.
Well, I don't like to say you're wrong, but
You're wrong.
you're wrong. The Sexton, the Irish whiskey.
Okay.
Four Roses small batch select, or small batch for me, is the bronze.
Okay.
Are you American?
I am very much American.
Just checking.
So, Brian, silver medal.
It's a tough call. Sexton.
Oh, Sexton. That means. Oh,
There's
okay.
only- there's only one
All right,
choice
I love
left.
it. I love it. All right, Chuck.
Are you American?
American.
The silver medal goes to Four Roses Small Batch.
All right. For me, the silver medal goes to the Scotch. Brent, silver.
Silver. I'm going Four Roses.
Oh,
Split
are
ticket.
you American, sir?
I am, but I can go right over there and get some E.H. Taylor Rye and move right on up.
All right, Chuck, gold medal winner. Gold medal
Listen,
winner, sir.
Hang on.
That's
Putting
132
Four
proof.
Roses as the American representative
Standard.
is like putting the 16-year-old that's never been to the Olympics before.
And who chose that one?
Me,
Aaron.
because I knew where this episode was
Could be
going.
rigged, guys. I don't know. Okay,
Rigged.
gold medal.
Chuck, gold medal.
Gold medal, Alberta, Canadian Rye.
For me, the gold medal would be Tokai, Japan. Just kidding.
Last episode.
Alberta.
Alberta.
Alberta all day, every day. Chuck or Brent.
Alberta.
Same for me.
Yeah.
Alberta.
Wow, it's a unanimous.
Yeah.
The
Social
Olympics.
media.
I love the Olympics. I'm glad they only come around every 4 years.
Right.
It is special. they were nice when Jennifer and I just are in bed watching and tears coming down our eyes because we're so happy for people that have worked their whole lives.
Absolutely.
To get to that stage.
And, you know, parents have given up everything. The Canadians that moved down to Florida during COVID, so their kid had a place to swim.
Yes.
You know, the kid who is like the greatest swimmer in the world right now, from France, Marchand. Is that
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Four goals.
Who wrote a letter or something to the coach asking if he could be on the team.
Yes, he grew up idolizing Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
And so he found Michael Phelps's coach and wrote an email and said, "Listen, I want to come to Arizona State and I want you to be my coach because I want to be the next Michael Phelps." And the coach sent him a message back that said something to the effect of, "If you're willing to work as hard as Michael Phelps worked, you can come to Arizona State."
Yeah.
And he said, "Where do I sign?" And then I think he's since moved to a different college, not 100% sure, but I mean, it's just these stories of the people, like you said, who have worked their entire life, and it's very, very much synonymous to the whiskey. Like you think about like Wild Turkey. Those guys have worked their entire life for that product, and then Buffalo Trace the same way. And I just thought it would be cool to do an episode and kind of be funny with the Olympic theme, but also think
Here's
about
the good news
all
for
of
us.
that.
We have some amazing whiskey from
Yeah.
all over the world. I would drink all these except for one.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Terrible.
I drink all of it
Sorry,
except for one.
Centauri.
I don't think they're going to be hurt by my lack of drinking their product.
they won't.
Not at all.
You can bring Suntory to its knees.
Well, there you have it. That's our results for the Olympics. Well, there you go. That's our whiskey Olympics. I liked almost all of them, and
Almost all. Except one.
I think we had a pretty clear winner, and we had a little discussion on second and third, but I think we were all kind of in the same wheelhouse. Fellas, it's good to be back in the turret. Thank you for coming and spending a little time with us. Thanks for watching. And with that said, please drink responsibly.